Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nerd Report. My name is Lewis, and we are here for a special live, as it's almost been about almost 3 years since the murders over there in Idaho. My co-host today, Jules, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
You and I were on top of this a couple years ago, well, almost 3 years ago. Wow, time flies. And it was a very traumatizing time because these murders happen to very young people. I say kids. I'm gonna say kids, and some idiots will come in the chat actually and say, "Well, they were over 21." That's irrelevant, man. You look at these people; they were kids.
They were.
Yeah, they got their lives taken away. They were just trying to better themselves by going to school and stuff. And from what I understand, they were good students, and they look like fine people and stuff. And a lot of things have evolved since then, and we're gonna talk about that as we get ready for it, because today is the sentencing, and there is a lot of questions people are asking, including myself, that we may or may not get the answers to ever, or we may get some today. But that's just me yapping. Jules, welcome to the channel. Thanks for co-hosting here today. Always a pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you very much for having me. It looks like the duo, the awesome duo, Lewis and Jules, back on the big screen again.
Well, yeah.
I just wanted to get a little laugh in there, because what's about to happen is going to be very serious and very somber. So this is what I could report to you right now. There will be if the hearing concludes today, which I have no reason to believe that it's not going to, there will be a press conference given by Mr. Thompson and whoever else is on his staff. He is the prosecutor in this case. That will take place 45 minutes after the hearing concludes. Now, it is being speculated that it may go into a second day. I personally don't think that that's going to happen. The other thing I can, so if it does, though, I would imagine that Mr. Thompson will not be speaking then until tomorrow. But Kaylee's family is in the courtroom right now.
By the way, this is a live feed from outside the courtroom. We'll be going inside the courtroom as soon as that feed is available.
And Ethan Chapin's family will not attend. In lieu of attending, they will be holding a memorial service at the same time as this hearing is going on. Now, Ethan Chapin's family was in support of this plea deal. Kaylee's family was not. So I would imagine when Steve, her dad, finally gets up there and gives his victim impact statement, something tells me he's going to rail on Mr. Thompson and the judge for taking this plea deal. Zana's mother is in the courtroom this morning, so obviously we will hear from her, and she is one of the folks that did not support this plea deal. And Maddie's family, I've been told, did accept the plea deal. Like, they just want it to be done and over so they can move on. So that's about all I've got for you. as far as updates, I don't know. I don't know anything else. And if you see if you see a face pop in on the left side of the screen, that's Joel. He flew out. Today is Wednesday. He flew out there
Gentlemen,
on
you know the
Monday.
gentleman on the screen?
What?
You know Joel?
Yes, I know Joel.
Oh, excellent.
He lives 3 hours south of me. Yes.
All right. So I see a lot of people in here. I really appreciate you all for coming on in here very early. Delissa, little mama, Jackie, Jules, of course, and Vicky. Please take this time to hit the like button and maybe share out this stream. And of course, as usual, we love to interact with you all. So your input is very, very greatly appreciated this morning. And stuff as we get in here. I would like to say, usually I'll say, hey, sit back and enjoy the show, but I don't know if I can enjoy the show. I don't like looking at the victims. I mean, not looking at the victims, but knowing that there were victims here. Obviously, the hunt for the perpetrator is exciting and stuff like that. But when you start to see that there's victims of these true crime situations, it's hard on me, especially when these 4 people, and of course, the victims, we got Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Molgo, Zana Kernodal, and Ethan
Kernodal, yeah.
Kernodal.
Nodal.
Ethan Chapin, and no disrespect if I mispronounce their names. I really, really apologize. These endings are murders, and you know what? Grow up, YouTube. They're murders, all right? Everyone's using that word. Want to pick on me? Suck my ass. The murders happened early morning hours of November 13, 2022. This is all located on the Moscow, Idaho campus. College. The methods were a stabbing. I got that in my info too. Obviously this is common knowledge, but just a recap if you're new. With a large knife that, as far as I know, this weapon has not been recovered yet. It's still a puzzle. It's still a missing piece in the puzzle. Maybe we'll get some answers today. I don't know. There was no forced entry into the home. It was a party home. Many kids going in and out. Of course, when you're that age, usually you think you're invincible, so you just leave the door open. What could happen? It's an apartment full of young people who could go in and do this thing without getting their butt whipped, right? You think you're pretty much safe. There's been roommates, 2 surviving roommates. I don't know if we're going to be hearing about them. There's been all sorts of very lame conspiracy theories about them. One of the reasons I stopped covering this, there's been conspiracy theories about the entire thing. With, I guess, people need content for the 2 years between when the incident happened and the trial. Authorities believe the murders happened between the times of 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Crazy times. Again, no weapons was found. And Kohberger was actually arrested 6 weeks after. So that was an intense moment here on the report, as like every day we're like, who did it? And until I remember I want to say it was a Saturday or Sunday morning. Jules woke me up. One of the many times she wakes me up on the phone. They got him, so I actually got on and we covered that live for you all. I don't know if you all remember. And the latest, and of course, is we're here, sentencing day, and Kohberger pleaded guilty. And some people are upset. Even the president wants him to spill the beans, right? Didn't he say yesterday, I want Kohberger to confess everything that happened or explain why he did it, which I think is important. What do you think, Jules? Anything to add?
Well, I have a real bad issue with this. In all my years of following trials, covering trials, when it came to plea deals, the prosecutor always included in the plea deal that they must stand up and allocute. And, when Kohberger pled guilty, last week, there was no allocution, none. And, I was appalled by that. Now I'm hoping that he will allocute today, but something tells me he's not going to. And the same thing happened with Stephen Stearns on Monday. He took a plea, and the same day as he took the plea, they went straight to sentencing, and he did not allocute either. However, he did make a statement, and it was repulsive because it was all about him. He made it be about him. So that was wrong. Yeah, so I don't know. And I stand with President Trump on this. I really do. He needs to spill. Now, all the documents will be released after the sentencing. And I don't mean like tomorrow. It's going to take them time because there's going to have to be redactions. But the evidence that they have on him reads as follows. My memory, of course. They have his Amazon history. He bought the knife in March while he was still living with his parents in Pennsylvania. Okay. He bought it. He also bought the head thing, oh God, Louis, what do you call that?
Headphones? The hood.
Yeah.
Mask.
The thing with and it had the eye.
Yeah, it's a mask. It's like but it's also used when there's cold weather.
Okay. But he also purchased that while he was living with his parents in Pennsylvania before he even went to Washington. So they have that. They also have plenty of video evidence of him being at the scene. He literally drove around the house 5 times before he finally parked and went and did what he did to those 4 lovely people. So they have all of that. They have, cell phone data where his phone was on, then his phone was off, then his phone was put back on. They have the route that he took to and from his apartment building at the University of Washington. Okay. There's a lot that they have on him that they have not released. Mr. Thompson did say in court, though, last week that when they went to Pennsylvania and after they pulled the trash and they found his father's DNA that matched as a familiar DNA on the clip of the sheath, that right there, mind-boggling, right? In any case, they looked at his car. They went over his car with a fine-tooth comb, and this is what was pointed out. When you on your car doors, the front seat of your car doors, both the passenger and the driver's side have that little thin compartment on each side where you can throw loose change or whatever in there. They said that car was so spotless that even those compartments, especially the one on the driver's side, looked like it was a brand new car that came right out of the dealership. So he really cleaned that car. Nancy being Nancy, that's correct. They took the death penalty off the table. Yes. Well, actually, David, it wasn't the
Read that
next
out loud.
day.
Let's read it out loud.
All right.
Just
This is by David Knight. Do not forget that Bryan went back to the house the next day. You're right, but you're wrong. He did go back to the house, but it was the same day. He committed the crime between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. on the 13th and went back to the house at 9:30 a.m. on the 13th. So about 4 hours, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 hours after, that's when he went back. And I think he went back because he wanted to see what was happening, if anything was happening.
It's kind of like an admiring of his work, type of thing.
Yeah, I do agree with. I agree with that.
It's a fascinating story that I think needs to be exposed to what it is and dissected. And the reason for that is not to know about the macabre or because it's entertainment or anything like that. It's to avoid this from happening again somehow. Like if it's possible, why, when, like, for example, is this because of the internet? Did he meet one of the victims on the internet and got obsessed with them? And if that's it, do we need to take extra precautions while you're online and everything? I know someone told me once, well, stop telling women to get off the internet. It's like, I'm not telling anybody to get off the internet, but here's the deal. If there's predators out there, I don't make the rules up. If it were up to me, this wouldn't exist. So maybe you shouldn't be in the internet. Just know that, is it worth posting relentlessly that you're putting yourself out there, that there's these scumbags like Bryan Kohberger that could actually come after you? But,
well, here's the thing. It's been reported by Mr. Thompson, the prosecutor, and I think we're going to hear much more about this from him after this hearing concludes, that in actuality, Maddie was his intended victim.
are we going to know that?
Kaylee had already moved out. She was not living in the house. The only reason why she was there that weekend is because she bought a new car and she wanted to show her friends. She did not live in the house anymore. And if he was monitoring Maddie, he would know that Kaylee wasn't there. Kaylee was so if this is true, what Mr. Thompson has indicated, he was caught by surprise that Kaylee was in that room. She was in Maddie's room. They were not in Kaylee's room. The dog was in Kaylee's room, but Maddie and Kaylee were in Maddie's room. So, I have a theory, my own theory on how this went down. I think when the coast was clear, he entered the house. He went straight up to the third floor and did what he did in there, not expecting Kaylee to be there. But he did what he did. And I think Zana, because Ethan was asleep. He was passed out on the bed. Zana just had food delivered and she was on her phone. She was doing TikToks. I think Zana heard the commotion upstairs. And when she came out of her room to see what was going on, he was coming down the stairs. And I think that Zana and Ethan were collateral damage. That's just my opinion. I do not know for sure. I cannot say. And I think he was too exhausted that by the time he saw Dylan, or maybe he didn't see Dylan. Maybe Dylan saw him, but he didn't see her when he was exiting the house. But that's my theory. Uh, um, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I think I'm hoping that we get some answers. Jackie Cornelius, they shouldn't have taken the capital punishment off the table. Can he be atoned? No. That's for the man upstairs to decide exactly. The eye for an eye says the Bible. I kind of agree with Jackie. So yeah, listen, here's another tidbit. Maybe you guys know or you don't know. Usually, when a plea deal is being sought, 99%. Oh, here we go.
I don't think that's it though. I'm not sure if that's it.
No, he's in jail.
Yeah, but this could be from a prior court date.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. Let's see. It could be a prior court date because this same feed is not live anymore. See? Or wait a minute. I don't know for maybe it is. We got some more. Let's see what they say.
Turn it up.
Try. There's no sound.
Be seated. Thank you. Need 5 minutes?
This looks like to be it. That's the setup from earlier. Like there's no live feed right now. They took it off. That's all we got. So
I want to check something.
there you go. Michael Myers Jr., Bryan Kohberger. What does everyone think? Let me know in the comments, folks. Make sure to do me a solid. Tweet out this feed as we're getting ready here to get this sentencing on the way. I'm going to go ahead and share this feed.
They may have put this on a 30-minute delay. Not sure, but they may have. I'm checking with my other sources to find out.
Oh, we're live. We're live. Okay, here we go. Are we? All right, that's a live feed right there.
They need to do something with the volume.
Oh, let me see if I can find a better feed.
Defendant previously entered a plea of guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary.
Are they even talking? Okay, we got a better feed right here.
Good.
The state is represented
hear that?
by Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, Mr. Hurwitz, Mr. Nye, and Ms.
Can you tweak it some more?
This is the time set for sentencing in this case.
Ready?
The defendant previously entered a plea of guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. In exchange, the parties stipulated to recommend a sentence consisting of, on burglary, 10 years fixed, on each of the 4 counts of first-degree murder, life fixed. The parties waived pre-sentence investigation To my understanding, neither party submitted a sentencing memorandum or other materials for the court. Court is familiar with the file and the evidence submitted previously by the parties as it has reviewed them throughout the case and in anticipation of trial. Is there any legal cause why sentence should not be imposed at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Does the state, before impact statements and arguments, wish to present evidence today?
Your Honor, the state does not intend to present evidence in a documentary sense. We have provided the court through the clerk with photographs that we would like to use during the course of our sentencing argument.
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
But no testimony other than impact statements?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So with that, let's start with then impact statements.
Ms. Jennings will be introducing
And my understanding, just so I'm clear, I indicated through the trial court administrator that we need to see if any of the victims wish to have the camera not running and audio only. And my understanding is all of them indicated they are fine with the video. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
All right, very well. Go ahead, Ms. Jennings.
Your Honor, the first, and we're taking these in the order, victim impact statements in the order that the charges were listed in the indictment. The first charge being burglary. So we will have Bethany Funke's statement, and she has asked that her friend Emily Allant read that statement.
All right, any objection to that? All right, very well.
That's a roommate.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's her.
That's
I'll be speaking on behalf of Bethany, and so, yeah, here it reads. My name is Bethany Funke, and I was roommates with Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. I not only lost some of my best friends, but I also lost a sister. Never in a million years would I have thought that something like this would have happened to my closest friends. I thought that we were going to wake up and go upstairs, see them and tell them how they had scared us and that they were going to tease us about how we were constantly scaredy cats and make jokes about it as we would go to Taco Bell like always. But sadly, that is not what happened and what turned out to be my worst nightmare. When I first woke up that morning, I had no idea what happened. I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache. So I called my dad, who is a dentist, and he asked what I should do. He told me to take Advil, so I did, and I went back to sleep. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. If I had known, I of course would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much regret and guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away, even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door. I was so frantic that morning and scared to death, not knowing what had happened. And when I made the 911 call, I couldn't even get out the words. And from then on, I don't remember a thing. It was like my brain wiped that whole memory. That was the worst day of my life. And I know it always will be. While I was still in shock, trying to process the fact that my friends were truly gone, I had been attacked by the public. I was grieving, numb, and unsure of what had happened was even real. And at the same time, I was getting flooded with death threats and hateful messages from people who did not know me at all or know the dynamic of our friendship. Social media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends. I hated and still hate that they are gone, but for some reason, I am still here and I got to live. I still think about this every day. Why me? Why did I get to live and not them? For the longest time, I could not even look at their families without feeling sick with guilt. I did not know what to say or what to do. I was terrified that my presence just made their pain worse. And I was still here when their kid, their siblings and their friends, their loved ones should have been here instead. After everything happened, I was afraid to go into my own backyard or alone in my house. I was scared that the person who did this would come for me next. I was always scared that the media would try to catch me at any moment of any day, even when I was just walking around my house. I made my parents close all the blinds during the day so no one could see me even in the slightest chance. I barely left the house, and when I did, I made sure I was never alone. I slept in my parents' room for almost a year. I made them double lock every door, set an alarm, and still check everywhere in the room just in case someone was hiding. And I still check my room every night before, and I double lock it. I have not slept through a single night since this happened. I constantly wake up in panics, terrified. Someone is breaking in, or someone is here to hurt me, or I'm about to lose someone else that I love. The fear never really leaves. For a long time, I could barely get out of bed, but one day I realized I have to live for them. They did not get the chance to keep living, but I do, and I will not take that for granted. So now every day I remind myself to live for them, and everything I do it with them in mind. I am still scared to go out in public, but I force myself to do things because I know that they would want me to keep living my life to the fullest. I am beyond blessed to still be here, and I refuse to take that for granted when they did not get a chance. Our house was not just a house, it was a home. It was where we laughed till we couldn't breathe, made meals, did crafts, binge watch reality shows, played games, and spent lazy days on the couch. It was movie nights, wine nights, morning debriefs, pranks, hot chocolate, cookies, and warmth. I will cherish those memories forever, and I will not let what happened erase how special our home was or how much those memories meant to me. Now, I would like to share some bits and pieces of who they were as people and some of the memories that we shared. One of my favorite memories was Halloween, and we all went to Sigma Chi. But instead of partying, we just sat in an apartment, talking and laughing all night long. I do not think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. We did not care about the party. We were just happy to be with each other. Zana was 1 in a million. She was the life of the party. But she was also the kindest and funniest person I knew. Everyone loved her because she made everyone feel so loved. She was just someone you always wanted to be around, no matter the circumstance. One of my favorite days with Zana was when we laid on the couch together all day, watching movies and snacking. Or when she, Maddie, and I would go and get margaritas, chips, and salsa. She would also light up a room with her presence alone. Kaylee had the most beautiful, radiant smile. And she was so kind, but also one of the funniest people I've ever known. She loved playing little pranks. And she always had us laughing so hard that we could not breathe. She was so full of energy and life. I really believe that she could have ruled the world if she wanted to, and she would have been America's sweetheart. Ethan was the sweetest, most genuine guy. He was always smiling and always making other people smile too. Ethan was the kind of person you wanted around. He was so kind and easy to talk to and just so fun. And the way he cared for Zana was truly something to admire. And really was proof that storybook love and true romances really do exist. It was not only obvious to me, but everyone that was around Ethan and Zana that they were absolute soulmates. Maddie was not only one of my best friends, but she was the older sister I would have always wanted. There was no one I looked up to or admired more than Maddie. She was truly a ray of sunshine, and everyone was drawn to her. She was so kind, loving, funny, fun, and passionate. She had the sweetest soul and wanted nothing but the best for everyone, and to love and show love to everyone. She took me under her wing and always made me feel so safe and included, and above all, loved and valued. She never failed to make me laugh or put a smile on my face. Still to this day, I am beyond grateful that she chose me to be her sorority little, and I thank God every day that I not only got to know her, but had her as one of my best friends. Honestly, I cannot pinpoint one favorite memory with Maddie because I have so many, and this would be a very long read if I did. But if some little memories with her that I cherish is when the two of us made a nice dinner and split some wine, or when we would binge watch Jersey Shore or Summer House. When we came up with a whole dance routine on Halloween and danced and sang all night, like no one was watching. All the late night walks home from going out, and just little shopping trips and so much more. I am beyond blessed that I had the chance to know each and every one of them. They changed my life in ways I would have never put into words. I hope that they are remembered for who they are and not what happened to them, because who they are were so beautiful, and they deserve to be remembered in the highest way. My heart breaks every time I go to text one of them or how badly I wish I could see and hang out with them. And then I remember I cannot. I will never be able to again. But I still talk to them in my prayers every single night, and I always will. I wish more than anything I could hug them one last time. And I wish I could tell them how much I love them. And even though I cannot, I still tell them every night. I will keep living for them as long as I am lucky enough to still be here. And we are all truly one of a kind, and they will be in our hearts forever and always.
Thank you. And please convey to Bethany my appreciation for her courage, and I hope that she heals.
Next is Dylan Mortensen. We're asking for some accommodations for Ms. Mortensen and that she
Sure.
be allowed to sit in my seat.
Sure.
YouTube allowed promotes channels that made up conspiracy theories about this young woman. They should be held accountable to some extent.
Yeah, I agree, Lewis, 100%. Dylan took such a beating.
Dylan, just take your time, all right?
I'm looking at the channels that made up bullshit about the trial and Dylan, and they are at thousands of people watching. YouTube is pushing that content, monetizing off that. I feel like they should be responsible to a certain extent. Since they actually have AI looking into what we talk about, they know exactly what these people are doing. Sorry. Look at the hurt they've implemented.
Look at her. She can barely breathe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, four beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason. He didn't just take their lives. He took the light that carried it into every room. He took away how they made everyone feel safe, loved, and full of joy. He took away the ability for me to tell them that I love them and that I'm so proud of them. He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. He took away birthdays, graduations, celebrations, and all the memories that we were supposed to make. All of it is gone. And all the people who loved them are just left to carry that weight forever. He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home, the people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable. I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there. I made escape plans everywhere I went. If something happens, how do I get out? What can I use to defend myself? Who can help? Then there are the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't stop shaking. All I can do is scream because the emotional pain and the grief is too much to handle. My chest feels like it's caving in. Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again. My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them. People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but they don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive? He may have shattered parts of me, but I'm still putting myself back together. Piece by piece, I'm learning how to live in this new version of life. It is not easy. It hurts, but I'm still trying. Still trying, and I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. About a year ago, I had a dream about them. I got to say goodbye. I told them I won't be able to see you again, so I need to tell you goodbye. They all kept asking why, and all I could say was, I can't tell you, but I have to. When I woke up, I felt shattered and heartbroken, but also strangely grateful. Like maybe in some way that dream gave us the goodbye we never got. Still, no dream can replace them, and no goodbye will ever feel finished. He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me. My friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them to make them proud. Living is how I honor them. Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Jill, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
It's a travesty what they put this young lady through. A travesty.
Next, we have members from the Madison Mogan family. First would be Scott Laramie, Madison Mogan's stepfather. Standing by him is Karen Laramie, Madison's mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Scott Laramie. I'm Maddie Mogan's stepfather and the husband of Maddie's mother, Karen Laramie. I will read this victim impact statement on behalf of Karen and myself. Maddie was our gift of life, our purpose, and our hope. Maddie quickly became Karen's joy, identity, and purpose in life. I joined Maddie's life when she was 2.5 years old. Experience transformed me into a life of joy, love, and family. Maddie was bright, beautiful, kind, empathic. She listened carefully to others and was observant, seeing and caring about the hearts and the minds of all she encountered. She loved music and music festivals. She had a wonderful sense of humor. She excelled in school. She was an easy child to raise, almost never requiring discipline, and almost always giving us parental joy. One time Karen remembers disciplining Maddie as a little girl. Maddie responded, "You broke my heart," which of course melted ours. She had a keen wit, even at that young age.
Safety, my
As
identity.
she transitioned into teenage years, she prioritized us and extended family over many of the distractions that capture teenagers. She showered us with her presence and love at family events, where many of the barbecues, picnics, birthdays, holidays, and others. She spent countless hours with her papa, her uncle David, Aunt Nadine, and her other close family and friends. This world was a better place with her in it. As she reached adulthood, Maddie applied her studies to be a marketing professional, entering into an internship at Payne West, and started planning her professional future. As with all things, she involved Karen and myself in the joy of her journey. As she transitioned into womanhood, Karen and I continued to be astounded at this wonderful and accomplished person we had created. All parents dream of their children accomplishing more than them. We realized this dream, all we had not become, she was becoming. Karen and I are ordinary people, but we lived extraordinary lives because we had Maddie. Maddie was taken senselessly and brutally in a sudden act of evil. She was taken along with the young, promising, and bright lives of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. First, we felt disbelief. Next, we felt disorientation. Then we felt grief overcome us. Our grief is compounded even more for the Gonzalez, Kernodal, and Chapin families. We speak of hope and healing, and we do have hope and some healing. But the vast emotional wound will never fully heal. Since Maddie's loss, there's emptiness in our hearts, home, and family, an endless void. After losing her mother in a car crash, Karen took years to grieve and recover. The feeling that her life with Maddie and A was perfect helped her to start to heal. Now, this is no longer perfect. After Maddie's loss, Karen felt like she was spinning out, emotionally collapsing into anxiety and depression. She sometimes asks, how am I supposed to go on when I've lost my favorite person in the world? I felt the same, and we continue to struggle. The loss of Maddie has impacted so many beyond our family. Her second family is her sorority sisters who grieve alongside us. She has so many close friends who suffer from her loss. We will continue to be her loss will continue to be felt by the Vandal community, including Vandal Solutions on campus, where she volunteered her time for others. It helps us to know Maddie is in heaven now, freed from the trials of this earth. We, however, continue to live on without the grace and support of her presence. We will grow old without our only child, our bright, beautiful friend and daughter. In the end, there are no words that can accurately capture the devastation of losing Maddie. We will endure, and we will go on. For Maddie, we will not let our grief consume us. For Maddie, we will continue to love and care for our family and friends, including the families of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. We will remain united with them. We can only hope that others out there suffering similar losses can look to us and see that we can overcome hatred, darkness, and evil. We know the law allows us to comment on the defendant and his sentence. As for his sentence, we support the plea agreement. Society needs to be protected against this evil. As for the defendant, we will not waste the words, nor will we fall into hatred and bitterness. Evil has many faces, and we now know this, but evil does not deserve our time and attention. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives. We will turn our time, talents, and attention to hope, healing, and helping others, and to the future. We invite all those who have suffered with us on this to join us in our journey. We can make this world a better place. We can move on from tragedy. Adversity will visit us, evil will visit us, but we will overcome. We can and will endure. Karen and I express our gratitude to Your Honor and to the prosecution team for allowing us the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your courage, and I am so sorry for your loss. God bless.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is Leander James. He's the attorney for the Mogan family and victim advocate. He'll be reading a statement for Karen Laramie.
May it please the court, counsel. My name is Leander James. I am the pro bono counsel for Karen and Scott Laramie. Karen has asked me to read the statement into the record. I thank my husband, Scott, for his statement, his courage, and his unending love and support during this dark time. While words are inadequate to capture the impact of this horrific crime on our family, he expressed it as best anyone could. For Maddie's sake, I will add my supplement statement that incorporates additional impact in the context of my extended family. I am grateful to Maddie's great uncle, Bryan Kohberger, for assisting me with the difficult task of putting our pain into words. For me and my extended family, Maddie was our hope and our light. Her beauty, both outside and in, shone its light upon everyone with whom she came in contact. Her beauty, she carried that hope and light into the future for our entire family. We have memories of our Maddie and grief and pain at her being taken from our presence. Any one of us would have given our own light to have been outshone by hers. We now look to our Creator to know that her light continues where we look to see her in His presence. Those who commit evil for their own twisted gains and purposes truly defile the efforts and sacrifices of mothers, fathers, families, teachers, clergy, public servants, service members, and all those who commit themselves to the greater good, freedoms, and the future light of our nation. Condemnation falls heavily upon those who squandered the lives of our future hopes and dreams. Some may offer forgiveness for what the defendant has done. However, we cannot at this time, or perhaps ever, nor will we ask for mercy for what he has done. His acts are too heinous. The agony and grief he has caused, too great. But we will waste no further words or thoughts on him. For Maddie's sake, we will move on. We will do our best to carry Maddie's light into this world and make it a better place. I thank the court and the prosecution for allowing me the opportunity to make my statement. And I thank all those who have and will support my family and the families of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Laramie. Appreciate it.
Next is Ben Mogan, the father of Maddie Mogan.
Yes, of course.
Actually, Your Honor, it'll be Kim Cheeley, the grandmother of Maddie Mogan.
Oh, God, this is going to be sad.
My name is Kim Cheeley. I was Maddie Mogan's paternal grandmother, as Ben Mogan, her father, is my son. I'm here today with my sister Lori Cheeley, Maddie's great aunt, and my son Ben Mogan, and my daughter-in-law Corey Hatrock. I'd like to begin by thanking a number of people involved in bringing this case to closure. In my daughter's words, the plea deal the prosecution team reached this month is one that punishes the perpetrator of this horrendous crime, protects the public from further harm, and allows all of us who knew and loved these kids the time to grieve without the anxiety of the long and gruesome trial, the years of appeals, and potential for mistrials along the way. My family and I are so grateful to Bill Thompson and his prosecution team for their dedication and painstaking work that forced the perpetrator to admit his guilt. We want to thank the Idaho State Police, the Moscow Police Department, the FBI, and Judge Hippler. We'd also like to thank the University of Idaho officials who have treated the families of the victims with such dignity and kindness, and who have honored the 4 victims beautifully. Maddie was my first grandchild. So when she was born, all her grandparents had the distinct pleasure of deciding what we'd like to be called. I chose Nana, pretty original. But when Maddie was about a year and a half old, her papa, Ben's dad, and I were planning to visit the new little family in Oregon. Maddie didn't have an extensive vocabulary at the time, but for some unknown reason, she called bananas ba-deedle-deedles. When Karen and Ben told her Nana was coming to visit, she figured, I say deedle-deedle for that word. So I became deedle-deedle, shortened to Deedle when she was about 6 or 7, and I was Deedle all her life. I don't think her stepdad, Scotty, ever knew my given name was Kim. Maddie's and my birthdays were one day apart, and a couple years before she was killed, she gave me this necklace with Deedle and Maddie engraved on it, and I added an angel wing, and it's one of my treasured possessions. I also got an angel wing tattoo, never thought I'd see the day, but along with many members of our family, replicating the one that Maddie and her sorority sisters had. I wanted mine where I could see and touch it often. From preschool through grade school, I stopped teaching piano lessons early on Wednesdays and picked Maddie up for bubble baths, brownies, and books. It was our special time together. And she went home those nights in her jammies with a pan of warm brownies for her family. Although Karen and Scotty raised Maddie and did such a lovely job of parenting, we Mogans were lucky to have her for holidays and many other family gatherings. We'll always have our treasured memories of Maddie growing up in our big extended cooperative family. And I thank Karen and Scotty Laramie for being so generous and open and sharing Maddie with her Mogan side of the family. When the 4 kids were murdered, the foundation fell out of our world. Initially, the fear was truly debilitating. The first 6 weeks were excruciating. Despite the vigils, memorials, candlelight gatherings of students, friends, family, community members. After the arrest in the past 2.5 years, my family has lived with grief, with the effects of traumatic grief, of which I was blissfully unaware before all of this. I now have a stack of books on grief. I've attended grief classes at hospice. I've tried EMDR, a technique that helps replace disturbing visions with something more comforting. My son Ben, his 2 sisters, Maddie's aunts, and I have all experienced depression and anxiety and sleep disturbance, requiring medical intervention at times. We've all sought counseling off and on. The struggle with media attention was extremely difficult, especially for Ben. No one should live through the violent murder of one's child. Some days it's beyond me how the parents of these kids are still upright. I'm thankful for the strong families and communities that are supporting the survivors. At the time, I could think of only 2 blessings surrounding the horrific murders. One was that Ben was living with my partner Tom and me at the time, and that we could support each other emotionally through it all. Sadly, Tom died a year ago of a rare brain cancer, and he won't be here to see justice served. He was our family's rock, and we all miss him every day. A second blessing is that my mother died of COVID several months before the kids were killed, and she didn't have to live through the horror. It was difficult to identify blessings. So we've all lost our dear child and a future with her. I ache for the loss of the dreams that she and her true love, Jake, held. And my heart goes out to Karen and Scotty and your side of Maddie's family. You've had more than your share of loss. My heart aches for the kids' roommates and the families of the other victims, and also the family of the perpetrator. Going forward, we Mogans are choosing to put our energy and focus into honoring Maddie's too short life and sweet spirit by celebrating Maddie May Day, which my two daughters established. On May 25th each year, Maddie's birthday, we encourage folks to do random acts of kindness in Maddie's name. In my daughter Katie's words, may we all protect our peace in whatever way possible, unite in community, and focus on joy. Please do an act in kindness in Maddie's honor during this week, so a glimmer of Maddie's light may live on. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate your courage, and bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Powerful stuff.
Now it's Ben Mogan, Maddie Mogan's father.
I'm Benjamin Mogan. I'm Maddie's dad. And first, I just want to say thanks to all the people that helped bring this all to a close. I know it's not the resolution that everyone, wanted, but I think that that everyone worked so hard, and we really appreciate all their efforts. It was such a hard thing to go through for everybody. Maddie was my only child that I ever had. She's the only great thing I ever really did, and the only thing I was really ever proud of. And I thought we would have the rest of our lives together to be together and to know each other, and I took for granted the times, she was in college, and I thought, oh, well, we'll have the rest of our lives to just do all the stuff that we're supposed to do, and she was just about done. She actually earned all of her credits for her college degree, and Karen and Scotty and I got to go and get her diploma that she actually earned, and she served every bit of that. And but I thought that that was going to be just the beginning of a long life together, and we never got that. Karen and Scotty did such a great job raising her after Karen and I split up, and I'm so thankful for Scotty and the role that he played in her life when I wasn't able to. But we got to spend a lot of great times together, Maddie and I. She was my favorite person to go to a concert with. we got to see some fun shows together. And I told her, if there's ever a show that you want to go to, you let me know, and I'll get you tickets for you and your friend, or if you want to, we want to go together, we'll make it happen. And my favorite memory with her was when the Mac Miller show sold out here in Spokane, and everyone wanted tickets, no one could get them, and they, on the last day before the show, they did a radio thing, and I got 4 meet and greet tickets for Maddie and her friends and me to go and see the show, and that was her favorite artist at the time, was Mac Miller, and he's gone now too. And my little cousin Zach drove us all there that night, and he's gone too, tragically. And anyway, the last thing that she ever wrote to me was this Father's Day card, and I'm so glad I still have it. I'm just going to read what she said. It says, "Happy Father's Day. I hope you have the best day. I can't wait till we can hang out again soon. I'll be in Coeur d'Alene, 624 to 74. Hopefully we can find a time then. I love your birthday card that you sent me, by the way. Maybe we can see a concert sometime soon. I'd love to see the gorge when it's not so smoky out. I hope you're doing well. I'm proud of how far you've come. Thank you for always encouraging me to do my best. Love you lots and lots. Love, Maddie May." She did encourage me to not just to do my best, but to live on. I went through a lot of issues with addiction and with substance abuse, and when I wasn't wanting to live anymore, she was what would keep me from just not caring anymore, and knowing that she was out there and that she was just such a beautiful person kept me alive a lot of rough moments. And I'm so glad that she was able to meet Jake. He was the only one that actually ever got to take her to the gorge. They went and saw Watershed together, and yeah, they had a heck of a time. I'm so glad she got to. That's a really special place for me, and she always wanted to work out there with me in the summer sometime. She never got to, but at least she got to see it once with Jake. He was such a great guy. He is such a great guy. And I really wanted to see what a future with them would have looked like. I'll never be able to replace her. I wrote a bunch of stuff. I just don't know what to say right now. I just miss her so much, and I just love her more than anything. And it shouldn't have happened. And a death sentence is one thing. You know when it's going to happen, and it's going to be all gentle and stuff. But life without parole, with a building full of people that all just want you to not be around anymore, and winking at every morning, not knowing if that's the day they're going to pull your card. I mean, it's not a very nice sentence either. So, I don't know. I just love you, Maddie, and I wish you were still here.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor, next would be members from the Kaylee Gonzalez family. First will be her father, Steve Gonzalez.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong police officers, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. I just learned from these lead investigators, to their shock, they worked in an investigation and actually worked with Pennsylvania police officers and the federal FBI. You united everyone. Everyone was united after you. None of us are divided. We are united in our disgust and our love for these children. Today, you have no name. Because when this all started, we all came together and we said, let's stop even talking about his name and just use initials. So even the media just calls you BK. That's all you are. Looking back when the police officers knocked on my door, told me what happened to my child, told me what happened to Maddie Mae, I don't think he was even out of the driveway before my kids turned around, looked at me and said, what do we do, Dad? I told them, you get to work. You get your ass to work. And we started calling, we started texting, we started emailing. And you know what? Within hours, we had your white car on the camera. We knew from the very beginning we had you. Police officers tell us within minutes, they had your DNA, like a calling card. You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master degree, you're a joke, complete joke. We took this disaster and we did what we could. We put everything online. We took our kids, we took our images, we took everything that they did, their videos, their photos, the girls' pranks, Ethan singing. We put it out there, we shared it with the world. And the world united. And all they ended up, when they talked about this case, is they talked about Kaylee Jade, Maddie Mae, Zana, and Ethan. Everything what these people meant to us, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, we shared that with our community. Then we shared it with our state. We shared it with the country, and eventually we shared it with the world. The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we've all started. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to Penn. That will be today or tomorrow. I'll close with, God bless all the men and women that worked on this case and all the hard work that you guys did. You guys allowed us to grieve and allowed us to get through this. The amount of work that you guys put together and the way that you guys put it together was beautiful. There was hard times to be expected, but thank you all. God bless.
Thank you.
Wow.
Your Honor, next is Stephen Gonzalez, Kaylee's brother.
Stephen's actually gonna pass. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Olivia Gonzalez, Kaylee's sister.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Olivia, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonzalez, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief, I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them, and not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with clenched fists, angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, "Why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down." And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer. I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper. Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Being in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe. You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You worked so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She was the best. She cut him down so bad.
I'm 100% sure she's correct. That's why he did it, whether we're in the middle of the night or while she was asleep. Same thing with Diddy, with Cassie. Gotta hit
Next
her-
is Christy Gonzalez, Kaylee Gonzalez's mother.
Did the people in the courtroom applaud?
Yes, they did.
I thought it was
Yes,
just.
they did. Even some of the media were clapping.
Thank you, Your Honor. I never imagined having to speak to someone so devoid of humanity. For a long time, I didn't think I'd find the words low enough to meet you where you are. But now I realize this isn't about you. It's about what you've done to me, and I need you to hear it. When you murdered my daughter, Kaylee Jade Gonzalez, you didn't just take her life, you shattered others. You attacked what you could never be, and in doing so, you left a trail of devastation far beyond that house. You stole my peace. You've altered my every waking moment, every sleepless night, the way I view the world, people, safety, trust. It's all been changed by your cruelty. I no longer recognize parts of myself. Joy is harder to find. Laughter feels foreign. The world moves forward, but I'm suspended in a place of sorrow and rage. You've taken from me something that can never be restored. The grief sits with me every day, some days quietly, and other days so loud it drowns out everything else. The emotional toll you've inflicted on me is immeasurable. I live with a constant ache, with birthdays that are now memorials, with holidays that feel hollow, with empty chairs that scream louder than words ever could. I am forever changed. But for you, as a person working on a PhD in criminal justice, you really didn't think this one through. You're not that good. In fact, you're not that good at anything. You couldn't secure a job. You couldn't get along with others. You couldn't even get a female to look in your direction. All because you are pathetic. Now you're a joke in this courtroom. I wish I could crown you with a jester hat to complete your orange jumpsuit clown look. A dead killer doesn't kill again. So while I'm disappointed the firing squad won't get to take their shots at you, I'm confident that the men in prison will have their way with you in more ways than one. You will finally get what you wanted, physical touch. Just probably not how you were expecting it. See, you haven't beat the system. You've simply entered a new one, where the rules are cruel and the consequences will never end. You are entering a place where no one will care who you are and no one will ever respect you. You will be forgotten, discarded, used, and erased. You will always be remembered as a loser, an absolute failure. And when those prison doors slam shut behind you, I hope that sound echoes in your heart for the rest of your meaningless days. I hope it reminds you of what we all already know. You're nothing. May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho, where your fellow inmates are anxiously awaiting your arrival. But it's okay, because they're there to help you. Hell will be waiting. Quick message from our youngest daughter. Aubrey wanted to say, you may have received A's in high school and college, but you're going to be getting big D's in prison.
Thank you.
I know this isn't funny, but
Yeah.
oh, people clapped.
Not good.
No. There's his father in the lower.
We have
The
more from the
lower-
Gonzalez family, or
Right.
you?
Yes, next would be Shannon Gray, the Gonzalez family attorney. He'll be reading statements from Kaylee Gonzalez's grandmothers.
Do courts
Morning, Your Honor.
allow
Shannon Gray, the attorney for the
Yes.
Gonzalez family. I actually have
Well,
three statements,
no.
one from her aunt and two from her grandparents. This is from her aunt, Tammy Butts. You in the cloak of darkness made a decision to turn our whole family's world upside down forever. You in the cloak of darkness took our Kaylee J. Gonzalez away from us all without hesitation. Never have you shown any remorse or regret. We just get creepy, non-expressive stares as you have your team of women defend you. Kaylee was a strong, kind, fun-loving, caring person, and she will greatly be missed by all her family and friends for the rest of our lives. She had goals in life that you took from her and us. We lose on watching her enjoying her life, working hard and building the future she wanted. She was ready to start that after college life. You in the cloak of darkness took it all away. You left us without her future wedding, her future children that she would have added to our family. No more talking to her on the phone, going for a coffee, celebrating holidays. It's all gone. You in the cloak of darkness gave each and every one of Kaylee's family members their own lifetime sentence. You in the cloak of darkness also took our Maddie Mae from all of us. She was so genuine, caring, polite. She was part of our family. You came in, harmed our children that were younger women than you in their own beds. You're nothing, you're a coward. It's not right that you have received life. I pray that you meet your end in the cloak of darkness, burn in hell. I have two other statements, Your Honor. This is Linda Lucan's statement. This is Kaylee's grandmother. I really don't know how to address something so inhumane, but I will try. Nothing in the past 2.5 years has made any sense. All I get is you cowardly went into a home at night, filled with what I'm sure you thought was all sleeping girls, and went on a vicious killing spree for no other reason but to appease your demonic urges. You took my granddaughter Kaylee from us, plus 3 other beautiful lives. You took my granddaughter Kaylee, beautiful, sweet-souled, doll-faced Kaylee, who was getting ready to start her amazing life, who had such a bright future, who was loved by so many, who you were so envious of. She had a life you could never have. You are so beyond human. You're definitely a demon from hell. I truly wish your punishment would be the same death you inflicted on our kids. But I think you will meet some new friends in prison who will be there just to help you. Thumbs up. And I have one last statement, Your Honor. This is from Cheryl Gonzalez, Kaylee's other grandmother. John 1:5 says, light shines in the darkness, and the darkness overcomes it not. Somewhere in your life, some jealousy, envy, ego, something went dark. It pushed out all light until you became dark and evil. And when you saw my granddaughter and her friends, their light, because they have such a light, you couldn't stand it. Because the darkness in you could not stand the light in them. And so you decided to destroy it. Cowardly, you walked into their rooms in the dark and took their lives, hoping to get rid of your darkness. But you didn't. You failed. Because you know what was once a light shown only to their friends, families, and loved ones is now all over the world. Everyone sees it. Their smile, their beauty, their plans, everything they were and had. And you think you put a close to it, even that, but you didn't, because they still exist. They are still light. They are still beautiful. You can never take that away. They will always be in the light of all eternity. And you will be in the darkness because you could not overcome it. You failed. I want you to be gone, more than gone. I want you to be cast out from my life, from my family, from this earth. I will not allow your hatred to penetrate into my own soul. You did not get that power. You are evil, and in the end, evil is eradicated. You didn't take Kaylee's light, you spread it into the world. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. If the are you moving to a different family now? All right, why don't we take a 10-minute recess? All right.
All right, there we go, folks. So far, they're taking a 10-minute recess. They've been on for how long? An hour and a half.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen now. 10-minute recess. What are your initial thoughts, Jules?
I have to say, Kaylee's sister was unbelievable. She dehumanized him.
Entering into an internship.
Sorry, what?
She dehumanized. What's the word? I can't even talk right now.
Dehumanized.
Yes, thank you. Him really good, and I am like, I'm happy she stood up to him and looked right at him. What do you think, Lewis?
Well, she's currently trending. So, I mean, she's trending out of everything. And with the quote, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. And everything. I just, before I forget, I do encourage everybody, like, because there's a lot of YouTubers in the true crime community that are really good at what they do, but there's a lot of them that are right now, they spread the conspiracy theories and everything. I do encourage you all to please laugh at those people, make fun of them, and troll them. That's the only way to stop them, because they think they're cool. So just point and laugh is the best way to do it. Point and laugh. I sent you some of those videos the other day, like a month ago, when he pleaded guilty. There was like the conspiracy theories and stuff, and you see the hurt that they've given to the family, or the other victims. There's not necessarily the victims of the death, but the victims other victims, people who were their friends and family, and they were falsely accused of things and stuff. So YouTube pushes those channels. They're responsible, and you all are responsible for watching, unless you point and laugh at them and make fun of them. That's what you should do. When you find these content creators, don't argue with them, because there's no logic. And then don't debate the facts. It's beyond that. Point, laugh, and stick their pictures on X and laugh more, and tag people, because there needs to be clowns in the world to make people laugh. And those are the conspiracy theorists. What do you think of that, Jules?
No, I'm with you, Lewis, on that, because he actually has, I can't believe I'm saying this. He has a fangirl club.
Yeah.
And then he's got the club of BK is innocent. And there's quite a few subscribers to this. It's astounding. And I'm like, how can you ignore the evidence? And they're saying that, Moscow PD and how does the state police, the FBI, Moscow's police department frame him? Come on.
again, you're trying to use logic. Point, laugh. Point, laugh. That's the way to do it. You point and laugh. The women that like them point and laugh at their fat ass. You know what I mean?
He's not going to be long for this world.
What? Did you get muted, or I can't hear this?
We will endure and we will go on.
Test, test, test. Can you hear me? I can't. Oh, there we go. Say something. God dang, I can't hear you now. Let me, Jules, are you muted? Let me see. Okay, so you can hear Lewis, but you can't hear Jules. All right, Jules, why don't you refresh and come back in? See what's up. Maybe it's something. I don't know if it's something I did, but I doubt it. Just reload. I cannot hear anything you're saying. Yeah, there she goes. So we're going to start soon here. We're waiting to see if different members of the family are going to be speaking the Gonzalez side.
Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever
There we go.
going back to Moscow?
You back?
Not even once.
Yeah. Can
All
you
right.
hear me?
You're stalking
Yep.
them there for months.
Yeah, so I guess what's going to happen now, they're going to be looking and see, they're going to take the break, come back in 5 minutes, and then we'll probably get a couple more people, the Gonzalez family, another person maybe from there. And
Or
then
another family. It may be, let's see, who did we hear from so far? We
Everyone,
heard from
all four.
Maddie's that there might be a few others. I know for a fact Ethan Chapin's family is not in the courtroom. And if you look, Lewis, look to the right hand side, the bottom
Here?
right hand side of the screen. No, bottom, go to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
The man in the front row in the suit
Left
with the
side, left
glasses.
side, right here.
Yes, that's his father.
Mm.
I just wonder if he's going to speak. I hope not, for his sake. I hope not.
What did he say? What, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, what as a father do you say? I mean, let's face it, his life was sort of spared. He's not getting the death penalty, but justice will be served behind bars.
I mean, there's no way you can release this person. I mean, it's not California where you'll release these people into the street. So
he's got 4 consecutive, is it 4 or 5? 4 consecutive life sentence without parole, plus an additional 10 years on the burglary charge. So,
yeah, there's no way to release this guy.
no,
And,
he's
I love the way they brought up, because there's a lot of people here, even people I know, it's like they debate you and then they say, well, I have a degree in the Cracker Jack Box College. Like, this guy, people with degrees are the dumbest people ever. You know why? You know why people with degrees are dumb? Right? Let me tell you something. Because you spend a lot of time at your house studying these books, but you don't know how life works, all right? There's academically smart, intelligent people, and there's street smart. Bryan Kohberger is not street smart. He's a moron, okay? He's a moron with a diploma or a degree. He's that black belt that got his black belt in a Cracker Jack box after 2 weeks of paying the sensei for his belt, and then got his ass kicked by a regular guy in the street because he doesn't know shit. Degree doesn't mean anything. This guy was dumb from the beginning. Listen, now remembering this guy was so dumb, Jules. Like, how dumb could you get? You know, I believe the only dumber people I saw were the cops that were stopping them. Remember, they would just let them go for no reason. You know,
I think
cops are dumb.
honestly, but Lewis, honestly, I think the cops.
No, there was a traffic.
I think but I think that they let him go on purpose to see where he was going to end up.
Yeah,
I don't know, but you know,
you think so, but I don't know. I'm going with what we saw. There was also another routine stop where he totally was it the cop he was talking to? He took a red
yes,
light.
but that was before this.
He is retarded. Okay, he's a dumbass. Okay, and he schooled the cop when he was stopping the. That's how dumb the cop is. Okay, so I'm sorry. Just because and the cops are supposed to have some sort of, you know, to get in there, they got to pass a test that they have to have some kind of average IQ, intelligence, and common sense. But just because you pass a test doesn't mean you have that. Okay.
Here's the thing, Lewis. He applied to become a police officer and they said no. No.
Yeah, he was out. Yeah. Why did they say no again?
Offhand, I can't remember. I need to think on that. But yeah, they rejected him and they did give a reason why. I just can't remember right now.
Brent says this is why the UK no damn plea deal sentence. You could get sentenced, you serve. Plus, families needed better justice and explanation for their children. Yeah, I do agree. I don't know if it's a UK thing or whatever.
Yeah, let me just say this. Out of all the trials in all the years that I've been doing this and plea deals were given, this is 2 times in 1 week, okay? Never before was a plea deal given without without the prosecutor telling them, yeah, we'll agree to this plea deal, but you must allocute. And for those that don't.
All right. Am I frozen as well? I think Jules froze.
I froze.
Oh no, you're back. You're back.
What that means is that the defendant must stand up in the court and tell why and how he committed his crime. It did not happen in Stephen Stearns on Monday. It did not happen last week with BK. I'm hoping he's going to allocute, but I don't think he is, because what I read when I read the plea deal.
Okay, you're freezing. You're freezing a little bit. When you read the plea deal. All right, hopefully we'll get Jules back. I'm sure he will. Okay. What I read with the last thing you said is what I read with the plea deal.
Yes, when I read his plea deal, not anywhere in the plea agreement was it stated that he had to allocute. And I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. He needs to stand up and say how he did it and why he did it. The families deserve that.
Yo, before I forget, Jules, could you share your Cash App? And if you all can, like if you send $1 to Jules, about over 30 people here, get her something to eat, maybe help out with her dinner or something today. Because, you know, for all her time, she woke up early. She took all this research for you all. And if we all send in $1, we could get her, you know, get her fed. I can tell she's getting a little grumpy already. So go ahead, share that.
Gunner, don't you know I thought Gunner knew.
I don't know.
I'm looking for it.
Wait a minute. You should know.
I don't, because
Her
all right,
responsibility.
here
Well,
it is. Here it is. I found it. Good God.
God has nothing to do with this.
God has everything to do
With
with
everything.
me
Yeah.
and my life. What is this?
But he has better things to do than remember your Cash App.
This is true.
Okay, so I'm suspecting it is $ J Bella.
1423. That's it. I mean, I don't have a link.
No,
But-
that's it right there. That's all you have to do is type that in the Cash App, send her $1. If we all send her $1, that's
Yes, I appreciate you guys. If you want to, I totally appreciate it. If you can't, I totally get it. What do you call it? I am just very this is hard. This is a hard this is probably worse. This is probably the worst victim impact statements I have ever seen.
really.
I don't mean worse that they're bad. I mean heart-wrenching worse. That kind of
you know, it's ironic. The one that hit me the hardest was the former the guy that said he was a former drug addict.
that was Maddie's father, her biological father.
Because the thing with him is what he was saying was not pre-written.
No, it
And
wasn't.
you could tell that. I mean, no shade at what's pre-written, but what I'm saying is you could tell that guy has some issues, and just what he said was just from the hip, you know.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So we'll be back. I mean, we're just discussing what we saw, mainly just victim impacts. That's what it's called, victim impacts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Victim impact statements.
Also, I want to encourage everyone to please do me a favor. Check out other Nerd Report videos. We have an update on the on the Annabelle situation. Look, I don't care. I dropped a link in the comments. I'll drop it later. I don't care what you think about if the doll's haunted or not. It just listen. There's a guy that was allegedly handling this doll, and he passes away suddenly at the age of 54, which is no age to pass away in, and that's kind of weird. That's weird. That is very weird. Okay. So
I tried to get Michael to go downstairs in the garage and get my Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls and bring them upstairs so I could show them to you. But he's like, "Are you crazy?"
you know, I feel like, well, no, let's say I feel like buying one, but nah. All right.
I still have mine from when I was a kid. I do.
So,
And all my porcelain dolls too. And my granddaughter has absolutely no interest in them.
I don't know if they're back on or what the hell is this?
Today, because the truth is, you don't deserve power over
Is that
my
new?
words or me.
Thank you. In the end, I realized this woman isn't about you. It's about justice for Zana, Ethan,
Right?
Kaylee,
No,
and
that's
Maddie.
the lady.
It's about honoring the beautiful people they were and still are in God's eyes. On November 13th, 2022, a piece of my heart was ripped away. There's no way to ever fully describe the weight of losing my sister, my best friend. No sentence or punishment will ever come close to the justice Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie deserve. Zana was everyone's best friend. She was kind, she was funny. She was a gift to each person she was able to make an impact on. Zana was someone I turned to when I needed direction or advice.
Although I am her older sister, I often found myself looking up to her. She had a radiant energy that everyone loved, and she always knew the right way to approach a problem. She knew how precious and special life was, and she truly did live every day to the fullest. Yet her story was cut short by an act of evil. I believe in God, whose justice is not bound by this courtroom. I find peace knowing that judgment ultimately belongs to Him. For your sake, I hope one day you feel the full weight of what you did. I hope you take accountability. I hope you truly experience the guilt and you surrender yourself to Jesus Christ. Because no punishment on this earth can ever compare to the isolation and pain of eternal separation from God. Zana deserved more. They all did. But I come here to say this. I am strong. I am brave. I'm a fighter, just like Zana. And you don't get to control how I move forward or what I believe. I walk with the comfort of knowing I will see my sister again. Zana didn't get the future she deserved. She won't be the maid of honor at my wedding, the cool aunt to my future children. I'll never hear her laugh or see her light up a room ever again. But I will carry her with me for the rest of my life. I will live in her honor, fight to be the best kind of woman and someone she's proud of, to make sure the world never forgets who she was. Zana's story doesn't end with what was taken from her. It lives through the love she gave, the people she touched, and the legacy our family will protect. Her light still shines, and her voice will echo louder than this pain. You didn't take that from us, and you never will.
Thank you.
I just want to say before I start, I'm Xana's dad, Jeff Kernodal. It's been a hard road down, because she's gone. And I want to thank everybody, other their families that's speaking so far, spoke about things. I agree with everything they have to say. It all comes back to a lot of the same things that I've had to deal with and we as a family have had to deal with. And that brings me, basis of what I'm talking about a little bit is on my way up here, flying up here in the plane and about halfway through the flight, this little girl is calling out for her dad. Hey, dad. And then in my mind, I was kind of half asleep. It's dark on the plane. I heard Zana calling out for me like she did, back when she was little, 5 years old. And those times were hard. It was chaotic, but we always had something to work toward that was in a positive direction, compared to right now, which is necessarily not as positive as that for sure. And I miss Zana a lot. My life's been changed, and Zana had a great impact on me, and the impact was when she was gone. I realized how important she was and what she really did for me, influenced me, was way beyond what I ever thought. She'd call me up on the weekends, check on me, see who's with me. She's like accountability to your youngest daughter. And that really made a big difference. It made me really think about things and what it's all about, That's the things that I miss the most is those calls on the weekends, the calls at 11 at night. What's going on? You want to meet my friend? Whoever she's with, a couple of her friends, I can meet them, talk to them. And she always did that. And it's pretty cool. I really miss that. And she made a big impact on me, on other people, her family, but the impact that she made is so extensive on what
We
happened
got a
here.
breaking news, folks.
And it goes so far. People from everywhere in the world, are following things, and Zana has made a difference in their lives. So, countless people told me that they might not even know her. They never knew anything about her. It's what they see, and they just love her and say how they wish she could have been their friend. Could have been their friend, could have hung out, and it's like, this is a blessing, this is the little kid was, and definitely was a big blessing in my life, and so is Jasmine, and basically, we worked hard to do the things we did, through the times they were growing up, and through those times, I realized that I wanted both of them to graduate college, and that'd be the ultimate thing for them to do to prepare for the world. Then it came back to me. Zana didn't get to finish college. He had it all figured out, and this all just came back to me when I was there, and that little girl was on the plane doing that. It's like where I was going, what I was going here for. And then I just realized and thought to myself about the wonderful life that she had and we had together. And I still get to have with Jasmine, but that's the part that really counted.
What you're looking at right now is
those memories.
Bryan Kohberger.
And those are what I have left, the memories with her.
Bryan Kohberger has drawn a black
life
heart.
that I can go on with now.
He drew a black heart,
which is what she wants.
I don't know what it's supposed to mean, but
I
that's
say that
on
in
his
present
desk
tense
right
because
now.
that's what she wants. Because
Jules, did you find
I've been
this?
told that, I've been countless.
I
times.
zoomed in.
Yeah, this
out
is
there
an exclusive
and
Nerd Report
has
by
a way
Jules.
to communicate.
This is
I'm
so
very grateful
I'm
for.
sure everybody's gonna copy it and not give Jules credit. That's what they do here. But you saw it here
That goes
first.
to say that
Bryan Kohberger has drawn a black heart
the impact of
on that
what happened
paper.
to them, all 4 kids,
So you
goes so
saw it
much
here first
further
on Nerd Report.
than just not me, the parents, the families, the community. It goes so far because a lot of kids, in the colleges, just for an example, they locked their doors now. The door wasn't locked in the back. At Penn State or wherever it was, all the colleges, I know that I've heard, they all lock their doors now. So maybe the impact that it's going to make is going to help out and maybe protect some people. Having this outreach and having the influence of what happened to these kids did, all I know is I was 7 miles away when it happened, and she wasn't feeling that good. It was 11:30, and I almost went over to Susanna's to say, and I would have been sitting right there in that couch, and you had to deal with me. So they would have had a chance, and I regret that, and I regret not going. But the reason why I didn't is because Zana said, "Don't be drinking and driving. You have to rent a car. Don't be drinking and driving." The week before that.
Give me a
So
second.
she was she would have been mad at me to do that, but I really wish I would have drunk and drove, because they would have had a chance, all 4 of them. At this point, I just have to go on. We're gonna go on with everything and make things better in my life, because that's what it's all about. If I have closure in things. And the part that we miss is Zana, her influence, her smile, the things that she did. And we have the memories left, the great memories. And she just wants us to make more memories and not be sad or upset or shocked or taken for that, And that's what we're going to do. We just have to. That's all I got.
Thank you for your words and your courage, and bless your family.
Next, Kim Kernodal would like to address the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Kim Kernodal. I'm Zana's aunt. I was very blessed to have her in my life, in our family. And I thought I had everything in my head, what I wanted to say, but it kind of went out. And I'm always looking for the positive thing, because evil, hate can destroy people. And that's what it started doing with our family. It created anger with our family members. And then I had to look, because Zana was everything that the media, her friends said. She was that fun, loving, high-spirited, beautiful person. And I no longer get to get my nails done with her, have lunch with her. Sorry. But how I look at it now is this tragedy, this horrible tragedy on all of the 4 children, has brought us closer. You united us with your actions. We're united now, and we're stronger than ever. We have family and friends now that we never knew we had. And, you know, this is probably going to bother everybody, but Bryan, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you, because I no longer could live with that hate in my heart. And for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, get my number. I'm here, no judgment, because I do have answers or questions that I want you to answer. And I'm here. I'll be that one that'll listen to you. Okay? Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
My name is Stratton Kernodal, and I'm Xana's uncle, Jeff's brother. Sitting here today listening to all the stories and feelings and feeling the pain from everybody is a pretty powerful thing. It's each time a statement was read, it sort of would tug into my center core as I felt everybody's anguish. And Zana meant a lot to us, and we loved her very much. But I started thinking about, instead of rehashing everything that everybody else was talked about, I wanted to direct it another direction toward Bryan and what he's done to his family, his parents, his siblings, his friends, his universe. He has contaminated, tainted their family name, and pretty much made a horrible, miserable thing to be ever related to him. And I know that that's what he has to live with, and that has to be his pain. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I believe Randy Davis, stepfather to Zana Kernodal, would like to address the court.
Hi, my name's Randy, stepdad of Zana. I just feel the same way we all do. All of us are united because of something that happened. And I'm grateful to know and have met some new family because of this awful event.
but this is probably the last time we're all going to be in the same room together. Let's be real. So I can say, I love you all, and I feel your pain. And just God bless us all, you know, just get through it. I had stuff wrote up. It was probably best I didn't read it out. Probably get kicked out of here. So, you know, I'll share one thing to you guys, not to you, with Zana. So I was working in North Dakota and came home, and Jazzy and Zana had taken our son Elijah and put him in a dress, makeup, and it was awful, you know. I was like, I don't know. She was funny. I told her she'd be in the movies and be somebody great one day like that. And now she is just above us as an angel with all the other beautiful kids. So let's hold that to our hearts, because this evil thing is not going to take nothing from us. You, man, I don't know what my limits are here, but I'm really struggling, dude. I am struggling. So I want to just be out in the woods with you, just so I can teach you about loss and pain. I love God. I wouldn't take your life. That's up to him. But I guarantee you, you are weak. God, I would just give a moment, man, 5 minutes out in the woods.
Same here.
Oh, man. Ooh. You're going to go to hell. I know people believe in other stuff. You're evil. There's no place for you in heaven. You took our children. You are going to suffer, man. I'm shaking because I want to reach out to you, but I hope you feel my energy, okay? Go to hell.
Next is Cara Northington, Zana's mother.
I'm Cara Northington. I am Zana Kernodal's mother. This letter is to you, really, but it is for my daughter, who was murdered by you. Today I stand before you, the man who is responsible for murdering my beautiful daughter, Zana Kernodal. My daughter was beautiful both inside and out. She possessed love for those around her and had a light so bright it will live on forever in our hearts. She brought joy and laughter to her friends, her family, and anyone in her presence. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, now has her in his loving arms in heaven.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another report.
Where she can never be harmed ever again for eternity. Because of her, I came to know my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because of her, many will come to Christ. It has filled me with joy, hope, and peace that surpasses all understanding. Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry or asking for this. This is only possible because he who lives in me is greater than any evil in this world. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I do not fear you or even let you rent space in my head anymore. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family. It has allowed me to let our Lord deal with you. You have accepted a deal that will prevent you from receiving the death penalty. Nothing man can do to you can ever compare to the wrath of God.
Amen.
Inevitably, you will stand before our Lord and will have to answer to him over the sins you have committed in murdering our children.
What's up, folks? Welcome to.
I pray you come to the end of yourself before that day. Whether you like it or not, heaven is for real, and so is hell. The innocent life of Zana that you stole from myself and my family, and the destruction of this, and the destruction it has caused. I am washing my hands of you and turning you over to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, whom vengeance belongs to. In closing, I want to read a passage from the Bible, Ephesians 6, King James Version. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that ye may be able to stand in the evil day. I'm not going to share memories of Zana or any more of the goodness of her with you, because I do not want that to be in your head. I don't want it to be in your head. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve our good memories that we have. I do pray for you. I pray that you come to the end of yourself. I pray that before this life is over, that you ask our Lord and Savior in your heart and to forgive you. I do pray for that. But after today, I wash my hands of you, and you are no longer a thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe the state has any other victim impact statements.
All right. So what happens next, Jules, do you think?
After all the victim impact statements are done, then you're going to hear statements from Mr. Thompson and from Ed Taylor, and then the judge will sentence him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Here we go.
Just as a housekeeping matter to start, there will be the issue of restitution. That is, the documentation is being gathered, and we ask the court would defer that for 30 days so we can present it in an orderly fashion and make sure it's comprehensive for everyone.
Any objection to leaving restitution open in 60 days? All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's necessary and appropriate to share for everyone here, including the court, the background that brings us in front of Your Honor today for these proceedings. As the record reflects, and as everybody in this courtroom knows, the defendant has pleaded guilty to all 5 counts charged in the indictment. Under oath before Your Honor, he has admitted that the charges against him are true. He has reassured the court that he has not been coerced or threatened to make those admissions. And Your Honor did an extraordinary job in taking the pleas back on July 2nd. We appreciate the court's discipline and insight. The defendant has also waived appeal on the multitude of rulings from this court and Your Honor's predecessor in Latah County on dozens, literally dozens of motions seeking to dismiss the case, seeking to control or limit evidence, seeking to offer evidence that would not be appropriate. And we appreciate the court's consistent rulings based on the law, based on the facts. As Your Honor will recall, on June 18th, it's just really not that long ago, we appeared before this court for arguments on what became the defendant's final motions to this court. Motion where they wanted to offer evidence suggesting that other people were responsible for the defendant's actions, and the motion seeking essentially an indefinite continuance of the trial. It was readily apparent to all of us in the courtroom from Your Honor's comments that those motions were not going to be granted. So we returned to Moscow and continued with what we had been working on for months in preparation for trial. We had no qualms about going to trial if trial was what was necessary and appropriate. The following week after we were in court, we were approached by the defense with an inquiry about a possible plea. And I can tell the court this is the first suggestion ever that there was any consideration, because indeed the defense had maintained from the beginning that Mr. Kohberger, the defendant, was factually innocent. It's clear that the reality of the evidence and the case that had been investigated and prepared and that we were ready to present in court became a reality. Our reaction, among other things, was to reach out to all of the families. And in fact, later that week, on Thursday and Friday of that last week of June, we met with representatives by teams, virtual meetings, with representatives of all the families. And we talked about the status of the case and the upcoming trial and things that related to the trial. And we also let them know that there had been an inquiry about whether there might be an offer for a plea. And we asked the family members for their thoughts and feelings. And they were candid. And they have been candid since, and we respect that. And we understand, recognize, and acknowledge that there was a difference of opinion among representatives of the different families. We understand that. One of the challenges of this case, one of the unique things about this case is we have multiple victims, each unique unto themselves, their families and friends unique unto themselves, and all of them entitled to their opinions, all of them entitled to their thoughts. Over the following weekend, our prosecution team, very skilled attorneys who were personally as well as professionally deeply invested in this case, met. And we talked, and the decision was reached. Well, to start with, were there to be any sort of plea offer or discussion, there's only one possibility. And that would be for the defendant to plead guilty straight up to all charges. There would be no bargaining about counts. There would be no bargaining about reduced sentences. And so we made the proposal to the defense that if the defendant was willing to plead guilty up front to all 5 counts as charged and waive appeal of the court's myriad decisions during the past 2.5+ years on all these motions that would have consumed years, if not decades, of time in the future. By the end of the weekend, we were notified the defendant was prepared to plead guilty as charged and factually acknowledge his responsibility in court for these horrible crimes. Obviously, those discussions and negotiations were confidential. And as Your Honor noted, I believe that was necessarily so, because if the defendant had decided not to plead guilty, it would have been devastating to our jury pool for there to be public information that there had been consideration by either party to a plea resolution. And protecting the prospective integrity of a trial after so many years was paramount. So, the end of the weekend came. We notified the victims' families of what had occurred. I recognize and acknowledge personally, and I respect the fact that of these fine, suffering people here, not everybody agreed with the decision we make. I accept that. It's my responsibility in the end. I recognize that that's the duty of the office that I hold. So now, it is time for the judicial system to impose final judgment and close the door on this chapter of these tragedies. As the court is aware, by the agreement of the parties, it is the state's prayer. Perhaps have the Elmo police turned on. Thank you. That on count one, the felony burglary, that the court sentenced the defendant to the maximum period of 10 years fixed in the custody of the Idaho Department of Correction. Then on count two, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Maddie Mogan. On count three,
Wow.
that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Christy Gonzalez. On count four, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Zana Kernodal. On count five, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Ethan Chapin. And the state further prays that these sentences be ordered to run consecutively, back to back, not at the same time, to recognize and respect the unique individuality of each of these beautiful young people whose lives were taken brutally and for no reason. And hopefully now, as we have heard earlier this morning, it is time to afford the families and the friends and the community and the state of Idaho and the nation and the world to move forward. We can't undo, and we can never undo, the horror of what occurred on the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho. For a long time, the presiding district judge in Latah County was John Stegner, who eventually became a member and a justice of the Idaho Supreme Court. And Judge Justice Stegner often observed that even God cannot change the past. But everyone in this room has the ability to take themselves forward. And we want the judicial system to afford them the opportunity today to do that. From today forward, our memories should be focused on these innocent victims whose lives were taken, on their families, on their friends, on the community. The court has heard discussion, talk today, reminiscences today about a special family that our victims shared, not just their natural, legal, and biological families, not just their university family within their sororities, for example. But this family. This is the picture taken on November 12th, 2022, of the special family of 1122 Road. And you can see all 6 of these dynamic, vibrant, loving, special, innocent faces taken together just across the street from their residence, and barely 12 hours before 4 of them would be brutally murdered in their sleep.
Oh, God.
They've been described consistently as being bright, caring, vivacious, with futures we can only imagine now. But they were, and they remain, a special family that I think we should all recognize and appreciate. So it's time to move forward. There have been a number of statements directed specifically at the defendant today. I have one last thought. After Your Honor imposes judgment and sentences the defendant to spend the rest of his life in prison, in other words, sentence the defendant to die in prison, he's going to stand up in the belly chains and leg irons that he's wearing today, and he's going to be escorted into the custody of the Idaho Department of Correction. And the door will close behind him forever. That is the closure that we seek, that all of these people, these loving friends and family deserve, so that we can move forward. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, does the defense have evidence to present today? All right. Does the defense wish to make argument today? All right, Mr. Kohberger, you have an opportunity to make a statement if you wish to. I take it you are declining.
I respectfully decline.
Well,
Dweeb.
please. All right, let me start this morning by acknowledging and thanking those that have come here today in support of their loved ones. And I appreciate your courage and your strength. And I hope that you are able to move on as best as possible. Thank counsel for the professionalism that they've exhibited throughout this case. It has been my great honor to preside in this case and to help bring, to the extent possible, some resolution and hopefully justice to this case. During the quiet morning hours of November 13, 2022, a faceless coward breached the tranquility of 6 beautiful young people and senselessly slaughtered them, 4 of them. Who committed this unspeakable evil was unknown for several weeks, but due to the killer's incompetence and outstanding police work by numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, the person that slithered through that sliding glass door at 1122 King Road now stands before the world and this court unmasked. This unfathomable and senseless act of evil has caused immeasurable pain and loss. No parent should ever have to bury their child. This is the greatest tragedy that can be inflicted upon a person. Parents who took their children to college in a truck filled with moving boxes had to bring them home in hearses lined with coffins. The loss this killer inflicted was not just the death of these people's children, siblings, grandchildren, as we've heard today. It has ripped a hole in their soul, destroying a special part of their very essence. Any person who is a parent defines themselves foremost as such. It is their existence and purpose of being. And it has been stolen from these parents. None of us have experienced the loss these victims have in the unspeakable way that they have. And therefore, none of us can, nor should we, question the way in which they have handled their loss. Whether that be in private mourning, removed as far as possible from this media circus, or in front of a camera demanding retribution with the loudest megaphone. I've listened intently to the stories and pain that have been shared today, with great awe at the courage and resilience of the surviving family members of those wonderful children. I've listened also to the surviving roommates, both in person and through their friends. And I can't think of how, frankly, courageous they have been despite the hell that they have faced by uncaring people who have come up with all kinds of crazy theories about 2 kids simply being kids.
Point and
The
loss.
parents, siblings, and other family members who have spoken today are designated as victims in our legal system. But going forward, I hope that they can shed that label, as it gives too much power to the evil that condemned them to that role. They are and should be known as survivors, fighters, and foremost as witnesses to the tremendous lives of value and unbounded promise of these 4 young people. But those speaking today and those who did not speak, but who carry the same burden, this same loss, now carry forward the memories of these now perpetually young people, these forever children. These survivors carry the responsibility of ensuring that the voices of these children, Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan, are never forgotten, and the positive impacts that they have had on so many lives are never minimized, and that the love they shared, the light that they shined onto others, is forever celebrated. As we sit here today, this case is ending, and we are now certain who committed these unspeakable acts of evil, but we don't know, and what we may never know is why. I share the desire expressed by others to understand the why, but upon reflection, it seems to me, and this is just my own opinion, that by continuing to focus on why, we continue to give Mr. Kohberger relevance. We give him agency and we give him power. The need to know what is inherently not understandable makes us dependent upon the defendant to provide us with a reason, and that gives him the spotlight, the attention, and the power he appears to crave. Yet even if I could force him to speak, which legally I cannot, how could anyone ever be assured that what he speaks is the truth? Do we really believe, after all of this, he's capable of speaking the truth or of giving up something of himself to help the very people whose lives he destroyed? Rather, I suspect the so-called reason would be dished out in enticing, self-serving, and aggrandizing, untruthful bits, leaving people wanting more information, more insight, and thus enhancing even further the power he seeks to hold. Even if we could get truthful insight into his why, I suspect it would not in any way quench one's thirst for actually understanding why in the first instance. Because there is no reason for these crimes that could approach anything resembling rationality. No conceivable reason could make any sense. And in the end, the more we struggle to seek explanation for the unexplainable, the more we try to extract a reason, the more power and control we give to him. In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration. I know there has been concern about him collaborating on books or movies or other media projects, and I truly hope that someone does not stoop to affording him this spotlight that he desires in the name of clicks, royalties, or profits. While criminal behavioralists should study him away from the spotlight in an attempt to prevent other would-be killers from acting on their worst impulses, there should be no need for that to spill over into the public eye. The great Idaho jurist Edward Lodge was known for trying to find something positive about every person he ever sentenced. And with over a half a century as a trial judge, that was a lot of people. This was often challenging, and I recall in one case he said that the best he could come up with was the defendant had good penmanship. Truth be told, I'm unable to come up with anything redeeming about Mr. Kohberger because his grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. His actions have made him the worst of the worst. Even in pleading guilty, his giving nothing hinting of remorse or redemption, nothing suggesting even a recognition or understanding, let alone regret for the pain that he has caused. And therefore, I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society. And accordingly, based upon his conduct and based upon the record before this court, recognizing the standards that govern this court's sentencing decisions as set forth in State v. Toohill, I hereby sentence Mr. Kohberger as follows. On count 1, burglary, 10 years fixed, 0 years indeterminate. I also impose a fine of $50,000. Count 2, first-degree murder of Madison Mogan. I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Bye-bye.
A fine of $50,000 and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 3, for first-degree murder of Christy Gonzalez, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the victim of the family, or to the family of the victim, pardon me. On count 4, for the first-degree murder of Zana Kernodal, I sentenced the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 5, for the first-degree murder of Ethan Chapin, I sentenced the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. The sentences on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shall run consecutively to one another. Restitution will be left open for 60 days. Defendant will be required to submit a DNA sample and a right thumbprint impression to the Department of Corrections and comply with the DNA Database Act. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility and execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies. Though you have waived your right to appeal, you do have a right to file a notice of appeal, and any such appeal must be filed within 42 days of the date of the written judgment, which will be entered shortly hereafter. Though the appeal, you should be aware, may be deemed a violation of the plea agreement, and so I certainly suggest you discuss that with counsel if that is your desire. I ask the media and public present to allow the families to be escorted out first before they leave. Again, thank you to everyone for your stories today. I am strengthened by them, and I am encouraged by your humanity and strength. And God bless you. We're adjourned.
That's it. The conclusion.
And the nation and the world.
So that is $270,000 in penalties that he owes. And when you heard the judge say about, how he hopes he doesn't write a book or signs a movie deal or whatever, that's because the state of Idaho does not have the Son of Sam law. So for all intents and purposes, he can write a book, and he may choose to write a book just to pay this money off. I don't know, but it's crazy. Now there is going to be a press conference. I know Mr. Thomas is going to be speaking, but it was to my knowledge, he was going to wait until 45 minutes after sentencing. I don't know if the family, maybe he's waiting for all the families to speak at a press conference first. Where you can find it, I don't know.
I'm sure everyone's going to have it.
What?
I'm sure everyone's going to have it. All right, so where you're looking at right now is nerdreport.com. I just posted this. This is Jules exclusive right here. I'm gonna drop a link to it so you guys can check it out. First time I think it's the first time I ever talk about this website. I've had it for a couple years already. So nerdreport.com, the link to this video right here. Do me a solid, head over there, click on this Twitter thing. You can share it very easily. You could click on the Facebook thing, share it very easily. Link in. You could email this story to someone else. Then go ahead, click the What's up, folks? Welcome to Nerd Report. Click the video right here. And I did this real quick. Welcome to Nerd Report. This is Lewis. We're inside the studio right now. Breaking news. We are covering the Bryan Kohberger case right there. And we've zoomed in. Actually, Jules zoomed in into what Bryan Kohberger is drawing, or what he drew on his desk, and it seems to be some sort of black heart. That's right. You saw it here first. Bryan Kohberger it looks like he drew it, a black heart right there on his desk as he's being read his sentence, or the There's being statements read right now. So make sure to check that out. What do you guys think? We are live. We are live right now. So if you're watching this barely, look for our live of the sentencing right there. Just gotta share that here on Nerd Report exclusive. Thanks to Jules right there. Bryan Kohberger draws a black heart. What does it mean? Is it some sort of evil? That's to nerdreport.com. Okay. The channel, because YouTube's pretending this isn't a big story. Fucking dude drew a heart, an evil symbol on the desk, and you're telling me that's not a big 20 people have looked at this? Give me a fucking break, dude. So don't support this fucking platform anymore until they get their shit together. Nerdreport.com, man. Go over there. Is that a big deal?
I
Hello?
think it is.
He's drawing a black evil symbol on the desk. Jules, thanks to Jules, we're the only one reporting that, and they're hiding that. Meanwhile, there's probably some basement dweller cousin humper claiming that this guy's innocent and he's being framed. You're just pushing those videos. I know people don't like me talking about that, but come on, dude. Listen, you that are here, if you don't go to this right now and share it, you're part of the problem too. Okay?
All
Sorry.
right, here we go. A black heart. Oh, I don't even want to read this, but in any case, often its meanings and often associated with darkness. Okay, this I don't believe this, but it says it can also be used to express grief, morbidity, or support for certain social movements. I don't know what any of this means.
Well, I'm glad we caught it first. You caught it first. That's a big deal.
All I did was take a picture of the screen and then I enlarged.
No one's doing that. That's a big deal.
I don't know, but
let me see. Grief or mourning, dark humor, sarcasm, rebellion, nonconformity, love with depth, emotional numbness. Yeah, this guy did this on purpose, and yeah, let's see if they start the press conference. There's got to be one.
Yeah, you got to find it, because I'm sure the families are giving pressers. I do know Mr. Thomas was intending on speaking to the press 45 minutes after the hearing ended. God. So
Kohberger also, he's lost a lot of weight since this has started. No real surprises today, Jules, really. I mean,
I really was hoping he was going to stand up and say what he did. I mean, I knew deep down he wasn't, but I was still hoping. I could tell you that these families are more gracious than I ever was, except for Kaylee's family. They were like right to the point. They let him have it. Every single one of her family members that spoke let him have it. The other ones gave him grace. I couldn't do that, Lewis. And I think my God would understand why I could not do that if I was in their position. I couldn't, and I would. What about you, Lewis? You have
there's a thing. Well, come on, yeah, I would. There's nothing they could really do. What are you gonna do? Stay there? I wish I could end you. There's a thing called killing them with kindness. Maybe that's thing as well. Yeah, I would be. What would happen? I don't think I'd be here talking to you right now, and I don't think Kohberger would be alive. If that happened to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If there was a, but I do make a prediction because I did predict a month ago that at the last minute he was going to do a plea agreement, just like I predicted Stephen Stearns was going to take a plea agreement. So on that note, I believe he is not long for this world. I know in the case of Stephen Stearns, we've already heard from inmates where he's going that they got him.
Yeah, but he's going to be in a protective area.
So no, he's got the death penalty. No, I mean the first 30, excuse me, the first 30 or 40 days he's in there, yes, he's going to be isolated because they have to, give him a medical. They need to assess his mental state, all of that stuff. He will be isolated the first 40 days, but he's going in general pop. That's it. Same as Stearns. Gen Pop. And it, like I said, it's inmates where Stearns is probably right now said, lifers, we don't have anything to lose. He's done. It's just a matter of time. And I'll lay money on it. The same thing is going to happen to BK. Somebody that has to serve a life sentence, they don't have anything to lose, Lewis. Somebody is going to get to him. Queen of infamy. That's because he has a black heart. Absolutely.
I think he's trolling. I think he's trolling.
BK?
Yeah, I think he's trying to.
Who's he trolling to?
Well, okay. So everybody, he's trolling us. He doesn't care. Remember, one of the things the black heart symbolizes is dark humor, sarcasm. To show edge. So listen, I think it's very telling what the judge said. I think the judge knows him more than anyone else. And the fact that he turned around and was like, this guy has no remorse, and he spoke of his personality.
Yes.
More than I ever heard, tells me that the judge knows him more personally, right? Obviously, than a lot more than we do. And the fact that he said this guy wants, the theme was constantly that this guy wants attention from the family. The family implied that, the judge implied that. They know him more than anyone. So my guess is this guy is a narcissist. It wasn't autism. It's nothing like that. This guy is just a piece of shit. And everything, you have to assume the most evil thing. I think this guy would do it again if he could. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I'm going with what the judge said, right? Because the judge was personal. He wasn't, how would I say, by the script or by the book where he like, or just, I don't know what the word escapes me right now, but he was throwing personal shots at Kohberger's personality as if he knew him, more than anyone. So, and the consistent theme was that this guy wants attention. So I don't know if that's a normal way judges act. You know better than I do, but something tells me this guy is just piece of garbage all the way through.
Well, what struck me with Judge Hippler is he was emotional up there.
That's right.
He was emotional. He was definitely emotional during the victim impact statements. I mean, you could see him with the tissue and, you know, wiping and stuff. Most judges, you don't see that. In the case of Stephen Stearns or even Sarah Boone, and especially Ashley Benefield, those judges were like, no emotion, no nothing. They just cut to the chase. Goodbye, you're out of here. But this judge definitely took the time and put in the effort to address everything. So I was impressed with Judge Hippler. I find that Judge Hippler was way better than the first judge. You remember him, Lewis?
Well, I mean, the name.
Well,
who could forget? Yeah, Judge. Yeah, it's like if your name's Judy, you shouldn't be a judge, and if your name's Judge, you shouldn't be a judge. So let me see if there's any.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let me X out of here and go here.
People are just replaying what happened. Okay, we may have something. We may have something here.
What did you make of, just the prosecutor, but when everything is finally official, you can see there the parents of Christy Gonzalez and their attorney Shannon Gray coming to the podium maybe soon. So we're going to keep tabs on that.
The parents of Christy Gonzalez.
But Jeremy,
it's totally, you dumbass.
So they got the first name.
I think it's probably
it's NBC. They're probably like more interested in like blaming Trump for this than anything.
greater details about how.
I'll just let Jeremy just hold on one second. Let's listen to Steve Gonzalez.
All right, here we go. Can you guys hear this?
Fought battle, but
Audio okay?
we have our person, and we have him where he belongs. So for that, we are thankful for all the men and women that put the work together, put this case together, and once it's part of the court system, it was a little ugly, but we got that conviction, and we're glad to be moving on. We're glad we can move on.
There's some truth to that, but then, there's also the fact that, what would he tell as a lie as to opposed to the truth?
Exactly. The knife, if he gave the knife up, or if he gave a part of his kill kit, if he gave out facts that only the killer would know,
It would corroborate things.
it would corroborate things. And he even addressed there's been way too many conspiracies, and the surviving witnesses had to go through hell. Well, no better way to protect them than by getting some of those details. If you got those details, then, as simple as just saying I did it solo would have been, valuable, I think. And, we stand by the negotiation wasn't justice. It was just it was a shortcut. And we said from the very beginning, we're not interested in a shortcut for our daughter, and we wanted everything.
Steve, you turned the podium at one point. Talk to us about why you wanted to stare him.
Because he's a coward. He's been protected by the court from day one, the minute that he was arrested. So I wanted to let him know that I was directing everything towards him, and his days of being protected are coming to an end. From what I've been explained, he gets on a van.
Annabelle
today, and
situation.
He's got like 12-minute ride, and then he'll be the responsibility of Idaho State.
Were you planning on turning the podium, though, or did you do that?
you know, I probably,
Folks, this
I remember
Annabelle
reading it
situation.
saying, do not move. So I was like, well, I'm moving this. I just kind of made that decision right then and there. So, I want to make it as difficult as possible. I knew my daughter was going to do a speech, and I'd heard it, and I was like, he's going to hate this. He's going to hate this next set of people that are going to come forward and really rip into him and really expose him for what kind of a piece of trash he was. And we've been waiting a long time to say some of those things that needed to
Kind
be
of
said.
reminds me of Tom Arnold, right?
No.
I'd written up a statement. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is where you
Okay. Well, allow me a second.
maybe like the court approval.
Yeah, he looks like Tom Arnold.
Yeah, definitely wasn't. Yeah, my name's Steve Gonzalez. I'm Kaylee's older brother. She was my little sister, my friend, the middle child in the heart of our family. There are no words that can fully describe her spirit. But if you knew her, you knew joy, you knew light, you knew someone who made everything better just by being in the room. My statement was largely grounded in one goal, and that was to do everything for anyone who listens to this and has to go through something similar to not have to endure what we had. My family's fought tirelessly, not just for answers, but for accountability. We've stood in front of cameras, behind closed doors, and across from people who didn't want us to speak, but we did, and we won't stop now. Across nearly every murder case prosecuted by Bill Thompson, including the killing of University of Idaho football player Eric McMillan, there is a clear and troubling pattern. Families are left feeling unheard, justice is negotiated down through plea deals, and the public is left with unanswered questions. In the McMillan case, charges were reduced from first-degree to second-degree murder, prompting confusion and outrage from the victim's family and community. The same pattern is emerged in the Silas Parks and John Lee cases, both of which prosecuted by Bill Thompson, where capital eligible crimes were resolved through plea agreements, sidestepping trials and diminishing public accountability. The most egregious of these crimes was the brutal killing of Whitney Parks, a young pregnant woman whose life was taken by her husband, Silas Parks, during a violent domestic assault. Whitney was only 22 years old. Whitney was beaten and strangled in her own home, an act of cruelty that not only ended her life, but also the life of her unborn child. And yet, despite the devastating nature of this crime, Bill Thompson reduced the charges from murder to voluntary manslaughter, ultimately securing a sentence that allowed Parks the possibility of parole after just 5 years. There was no trial, no full accounting of what Whitney endured, no acknowledgement in the legal outcomes of the child she was carrying. For Whitney's family, and for anyone who believes that justice system should speak forcefully for victims,
What's up,
this
folks?
wasn't
Welcome to
justice. It was a deal, and it was like so many others under Thompson's watch. It prioritized expedience over accountability.
By the way, Jules, all the media is copying you now. They finally saw the Black Heart. There should be big news pretty soon. So good job on that. Imitation's the best form of flattery.
Ever consulting our family in any meaningful way. In fact, we learned from the plea deal that had been finalized from an email from the prosecution team. Not in person, not with warning, not with respect. That moment underscored what we feared all along, and that this case was following the same well-worn path toward expedience over justice. Sentencing once again fails to reflect the severity of the act, and the emotional fallout has landed again on the shoulders of the victims' families, who have been left out, unheard, and grieving not just a horrific loss, but a system that continues to bypass them. The through line is undeniable. Whether it's 2004 or 2025, this prosecutional, is that a word? Sorry. Prosecutional
That's cool.
Approach has consistently abandoned the very approach it is, or the very people it is supposed to protect. The trends you'll notice from Thompson's prosecuted crimes are the following: plea bargains avoiding capital punishment, charge reductions, sentences that misalign with the gravity of the crime, lack of trial due to plea bargains. These aren't just failures in process, they're failures that have real consequences for real people. After reviewing Bill Thompson's history, it's clear our family was never given a fair chance at justice. But this isn't just about a prosecutor's record. It's about Kaylee. It's about my sister. She's not just one of the Idaho 4. She was a daughter, a sister, a best friend, and the light in every room she walked into. When the prosecution followed the same path we've seen before, closed doors, limited input, and a plea deal handed down without our voice, it became painfully clear that Kaylee was being treated just like another case. But she wasn't. She was everything to us, and our pain has only deepened, knowing that the system didn't fight for her the way she deserved. I'll leave everyone with this. There's 1,000 things I wish I could say to Kaylee, but today I'll just say this. I will always carry her with me for the rest of my life, and I will never stop being her brother. Thank you.
He's not wrong. He's not.
Well, I think it was kind of interesting that once the president sent a truth statement out, they called us right up and they told us everything. So I don't know what was holding them back before, but we spent about 3 hours, close to 3 hours with the lead detectives. And yeah, we found, because our main thing was we didn't want to have victims advocate statements that had lies and misquotes and misinformation in it. So I appreciate the president, putting a little bit of pressure on there, and it seemed to work. Up until that time, they told us they were not going to tell us, and we were going to have to just wait for the things to be unsealed. But yeah, it was horrific what Kaylee went through. Yeah, and I don't want to protect this guy, but I won't give out all the details. I'll be general, but yeah, she was stabbed over 30 plus times, and she was struck, and there was quite a bit of damage to her face. So this guy's just an absolute monster. Anyone who thinks that he's otherwise, I just looked at pure demons out there. When I was looking at him, we had a stare down, and he's just filled with demons. He's dark pits of eyes, and there's something seriously wrong with that man.
Steve, why was it important for you to look him directly in the eyes? And what did you see as you spoke to him?
I looked him straight in the eyes, and I just seen black holes and just anger at me. He was telling me with his face that he fucking hated me. He absolutely fucking hated me.
And why did you want to speak to him directly that way?
It's the most personal.
Yeah.
Look at me in my eye. You took my daughter's life. Look at me.
Yeah,
Did your family get something today that you didn't?
yeah, 100%.
It's a little early to actually even answer that for myself. I think that kind of stuff needs to set in and sink in, and you regret maybe saying some things, or you wish that you would have said things. So I think right now we're just kind of in the mix of the tornado and the real feelings.
As the spotlight then fades, what do you want the public to remember?
By the way, I love Steve
Our
Gonzalez.
main thing is,
I think he's awesome.
Hopefully this could be a template for another family that, you can use the media as much as they're using you. You can use it to keep people accountable, keep people honest, keep the court system, treating you with a little bit of respect. And I think that's what we did. And the more that you get active, I think the more chance that you're going to get that justice in the end. I think you really got to try to make your kids stand out, or whoever you're trying to protect, you make them real. Get on the internet and talk to people.
Before you go, Olivia, I want to ask Olivia today. Spectacular. Olivia asked the question, what was the other weapon system? So despite this meeting around the prosecutors, there still sounds like there's something different there. Can you explain that?
No, we do know that another weapon was used on Kaylee.
Oh shit.
So we don't know what that weapon was, but
They didn't recover it.
along with the knife wasn't recovered, but Kaylee was not just stabbed. There was other things that happened to Kaylee.
Talk about that a little. The conversation we had with the prosecution was about healing more than anything. It was about giving the victims' families answers. And they may share some of that information at a later date, but today is not the day for that. Today is about the sentencing. It's about putting the defendant in prison for the rest of his life. So There may be more details to come about that, but that conversation that they had was about the healing process and finding some answers that they had. And so we may share at a later date, but today's not the day. Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, I want to bring in here Missy Maris, who's been listening along with me with the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez. You just heard from Steve Gonzalez Jr., along with Christy Gonzalez.
Yeah, she's having trouble pronouncing everything. You there, Jules?
I'm here.
All right, so I don't know. I think this pretty much is it concluded, or what do you think's next?
Thompson is supposed to talk, but I don't know if he's going to reveal anything. Apparently, I don't know.
Well, we'll wait a few moments. We've been on for 3 hours and a half. Thanks, Jules, for coming on in here.
Oh, no worries. No, I appreciate you, Lewis, for doing this because, you know what this case meant to me. So thank you.
Oh yeah. Also, with this is we need a closure either way. I was gonna do the daily thing. We started it 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, we sure did.
I've kind of let go of the true crime stuff because of all the, the inbreds and the former mental illness, mental health nuts with the conspiracy theories. I just can't. But again, guys, and I know it's not this community, but if you see people with you see how much it hurt the victims here, all the made up stuff. Do not debate them. Just point and laugh. There's clown emojis you could do there, and don't even watch them. But if you have to, don't debate people that think Kohberger was framed. Just point, laugh, and share that. I am actually serious. I know some people aren't paying attention to what I'm saying, but that's the way you deal with them.
Well, Lewis, I'm a true crime junkie. I have been for years. But the difference is those people have never stepped foot in a freaking courtroom.
No.
I've been in too many courtrooms. I can't even count. I mean, I started going to trials when I lived in Georgia. I go with the facts. I listen to the evidence.
Yeah, and you can have your theory, but when you're shown the facts and then you're still with your theory, and it's like, the most ridiculous thing. Like, why would Idaho conspire to protect Kohberger? Who cares? What does that do? What does that do? Who cares? Seriously.
Well, I go into every trial with that the defendant has the presumption of innocence until they are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of their peers. And I listen to both sides. I listen to what the prosecution has to say, and I listen to what the defense has to say. And then I make my own determination and my own prediction on how I would have voted on a jury. And that's how I do it. There was only one case that I did get personally involved with. I will not say which case that was, but I did get,
The one you were on the news for?
Yeah. Well, I was on the news though for Petitos. I was on the news for Sarah Boone. I got to interview a whole lot of lawyers. I interviewed Laundrie's attorney, Petito's attorney, Ashley Benefield's attorney, Sarah Boone's attorney. So anyways, but that's what I like. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, though. I
Well,
don't.
conspiracy like is kind of. Well, I mean, like, what is a conspiracy? Like, I think by saying, I think Bryan Kohberger met one of the victims at the the deli she worked at or the restaurant she worked at and got obsessed thereafter. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, is that a conspiracy theory? I mean, you could have your educated guess on what
Yeah,
happened.
that was my what I said this morning. Yes, that was my educated guess on
Yeah.
that.
Or your theory, but some of these people are like,
yeah, I don't go to people's houses and stalk them and or walk through the woods and say, I don't do that. I go to court.
and then
I go to court.
the entire system is going to put itself on the line to protect Kohberger, but it's like he was framed. Come on, man, seriously, you need to go out with your cousin who you're probably married to more, touch the grass.
Jesus, oh my God, Louis, stop.
Well, come on, man, I've just had it with this shit.
Well, those are the crazy ones, the ones that make up recordings, like or you know who I'm talking about. I'm not saying their names, but you know who I'm talking
They're
about.
about 3 feet tall. Luckily now, not YouTube, but a lot of lawyers have finally figured out you get to sue these dumbasses for slander. Can't hide behind a lot of YouTubers are getting sued for making up shit, Some of it's, the Blake Lively subpoena is ridiculous, but
that is insane. And if she thought that was going to get her more support, she royally screwed up, because now way more people have come out against her. That was a pretty slimy move that she made.
Oh yeah, that's the dumbest move she's ever made. But I mean, both sides are dumb. Justin Baldoni has a bunch of scumbag followers. They claim they're just into it because they want to see justice. Well, why aren't they here? Why aren't they watching this? Or they're not here. You know what I mean? They're interested more in the case. To me, they're probably just interested in, allegedly Justin Baldoni's alleged 1-incher. So I don't give a shit about that crowd, both of them. But Blake Lively really did take this stuff to dumb level, because she's on the victory side. She's already, the judge dropped the lawsuit.
Well, I don't like this judge. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know, man, but she's kicking Baldoni's ass. Dad. Don't let the I know YouTubers are trying to, victory hit. No, man, she's beating the shit out of him.
Look, we don't know what we don't know. Okay.
Right now it looks, I'd rather be on.
But we'd have to see what a judge is going to do in the end. I don't like this judge at all, but we have to wait and see when it actually goes to trial.
Again, the judge may be seeing stuff we're not seeing, right? So, just like we saw with the Kohberger. Let me see if there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm
not tired, but it was hard. I got to be honest. It's hard to wake up today.
No, you were up way early because you're an hour behind them. Is that, an hour behind Idaho. So when they started at 9, it was really 8. And I know you were up earlier because you had taken your little Bella out for a while.
Oh, wait, there's a statement right now. Okay. Sorry about that, Jules. Interrupted.
No, I want to hear the statement. What they have to say is more important than what I have to. All right, that was Xana's
now
father.
That the stories are able to speak more freely with the family. Up until now,
Cara and
Oh,
I
is that-
at the sentencing, where we gave our victim impact statement. Judge Hippler sentenced the defendant to the maximum allowable sentence under the plea agreement. The sentence will ensure that this evil will never again terrorize a family as he did ours and 3 others. Trial would have involved risks. Had the defendant been convicted, he may not have been given the death penalty. Had he been convicted of the death penalty, we would have had to endure years, maybe even decades of appeals. This way, his fate is sealed. Society is protected, and we can move on with our lives and attempt to recover. Maddie was our purpose and our hope. We remain lost without her, but we will find our way. Thank you. Shut up. Thank you.
That's it. That's fine. They said it. They've said enough during the court. I think that's it. For now, go ahead and share your Cash App one more time. See if anybody wants to. You don't know it?
I have to look it up once again.
Jesus.
I have to see where it is. Here it is.
Either way, it's been a great stream.
Yeah. And everybody, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this out on your social media accounts. And when Lewis goes live, you best be here. And if you want to see me more with Lewis, well, then you best be here, and you need to spread the word. Jules is back.
Back
right,
again.
Lewis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. You know it.
I know.
I think they got the right guy. Huh? Okay, listen. There's a video I posted earlier about Kohberger and Black Heart. Do me a favor. Share that video right now. Drop the link in the comments. Leave a like, but overall, watch the video. Leave a comment. Stuff. Dropping the link one more time. Any last thoughts, Jules? Should we wait for anything else, or you think that's pretty much it?
I think you've got it all. I mean, I could always catch it on the news if indeed Mr. Thompson is going to speak. I will say this though, everything that Steve's son said about Mr. Thompson, I looked into that myself, and that was very true. Mr. Thompson, in every high profile murder case, did not take it to trial. Everyone was done with a plea deal. So I have to wonder.
That's the prosecution.
Is he not confident in himself on how he can actually,
or maybe he's lazy.
maybe, or is he not confident in himself that he can conduct, a high profile trial? I don't know. He says all the evidence is there. We will not see the evidence for a while. I mean, oh, Jesus. God, that scared me. Judge Hippler did say that, he will unseal the documents, but he needs to go through them, which is going to take time, because there are going to have to be certain redactions done, like, the names of the two roommates thankfully are still with us. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. And it's going to take time, but then we'll actually be able to see for ourselves what the evidence really was. And my thing is, again, this is just a theory on my part. I think that there was enough of evidence that was going to prove him guilty, because it was the defense. And I've been saying this for a month now, and nobody wanted to believe me. And Mr. Thompson made it clear today. It was the defense that went to the prosecution and asked for a plea deal. Why would the defense do that? Because it's usually the other way around. And when it's the other way around, it's because they don't think that they have enough to prove him guilty. But the defense went to him, which tells me Ann Taylor, because she's privy to all the evidence that they had, that Ann Taylor said, look, BK, before we go, it's getting close to the trial date. Maybe we should think about asking for a plea deal. Because she knew that there's no way she was going to win this. And especially she was going to, Lewis, how crazy is it? She was going to blame Bethany and Dylan and say they did it. I mean, this is what her defense was going to be. To blame it on those two girls, like those two girls were physically capable of doing such a thing. Give me a break. Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Well said. Thanks again, Jules, and they'll be back. And this is Nerd Report. Real quick, I'm about to post a video on a different note. Stay tuned. Come back. Alien footage.
Oh, good.
This one looks pretty creepy, if you ask me. You guys ready for that? We'll come back to Nerd Report in about half an hour. It's not going to be live. It's going to be a standalone video. Alien footage in Compton.
Yeah, I like that.
A little bit more lighthearted. All right. Bryan Kohberger sentenced. He's not going to see the light of day. So that's a good thing. The hell with him. And we'll be back. Thanks, everyone. Nerd out.
Bye-bye.